You know him from Kenny Conversation. You know him from the Kenny Wallace YouTube channel. And today, very happy to have on my good friend, a man I consider a mentor, a man with life and great humor. His name is Kenny Wallace. Kenny, welcome to Motorsport Report, my brother. How we got our times mixed up a little bit, but all's well in the world now. You back home. You've been selling coffee mugs. They've been breaking, dude. What's going on with that?
I'm a great promoter, aren't I?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, man.
So, man, I'll tell you what. We have had so much fun as a family. We have sold, it's been awesome. The fans are awesome. I want to thank all the fans. So what had happened, we started shopkennywallace.com. We have the best merchandise. However, we went to sell coffee mugs, and we've sold about 748 to be exact, because I got my account, I see it. And we broke about 7 of them. So I knew that they were out there, and I knew that they were being shipped. And I saw one that was broke, and so I put out an all points bulletin. I said, hey, we messed up. We didn't ship these things good enough. And everybody was cool, and man, it just went nuts from there. It was an accidental success.
Yeah.
So now what we're doing is we're taking the coffee mugs, and we're putting them in a small box in bubble wrap, and we're putting those in another box, because 9 times out of 10, we're also putting a T-shirt or a decal or a hat in all that. But yeah, go to shopkennywallace.com. We've got 3 great shirts up there. We've got fitted hats, buttoned up hats, nice decals, and what I like about it, Chase, is it brings our whole family together.
Yeah.
Our girls love it, and they know how to operate everything and print labels, so we're having a good time.
I love that. Yeah, my wife is a big shipper. She's big. I was going to tell you, like, her thing is, like, anytime I go to mail something, she's always double checking it for me. With the mugs, she'll take the bubble wrap and then she'll wrap it in paper, and then she'll put it in. So that was something I learned. But I'm glad to see that you got the mugs going out. We got some people here in the chat that said they ordered some mugs from you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah.
I need to go get one real quick. They're awesome. They do really good, and we're having a lot of fun with it. And it is amazing when I do coffee with Kenny. You'll get some people and they're like, there's no coffee in there. I'm like, what do you mean there's no coffee in my coffee mug? Well, our coffee mugs are probably 15 ounces. Well, I only pour 10 ounces at a time because it'd go cold, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, the great thing about our coffee mugs is they're nice. They're strong. Obviously you can't throw them against a wall, as we found out in shipping.
Yeah, yeah.
But, I use the same coffee mug every day, and you fill it up and it's half full. I said, it leaves us old people a little room,
Right.
so it doesn't spill out.
No, I think that's great. I will say that that should be your next endeavor. Just figure out what it's going to take to make your own coffee. There you go, Kenny Wallace Brew. You know what I mean?
I've had a lot of people. You know what? Let's say it like this: people are wonderful to me, and everybody has given me great ideas. It is impossible for me to react to every single thing because I like to stay my lane. Could I make more money? Yes. Do I want to? No, because I'm doing all I can handle right now. I've got all I can handle, and I don't want to create a monster. But I think making some coffee could be the next thing if I could find somebody that could make me some good coffee, and I think that's something to consider. That's the next step for sure.
That's the next step. Well, we love that.
Angela. Hold on, I'm going to get that coffee mug. Hey, come here. I'm going to show you my buddy Chase. This is Angela. No, it's okay. Say hi.
What's up? How we doing?
That's Angela. She's a badass. Could I ask you a big favor?
What?
Could you go get that coffee mug? The coffee with Kenny mug? And I love you. Thank you.
I love that. I got family up right now for the holidays too, man. So we've been since I moved from Louisiana up here to North Carolina, it's been cool to bring my family that never really left Louisiana to a new state. So
You're awesome. I love you. Thank you.
There we go. He's got the mug now.
So here's the mug, and right-handed or left-handed.
Boom.
But this was all my wife's ideal. This is all Kim. And everybody loves Louie, so there's Louie. Louie the legend.
Louie.
Yeah, so it's a nice sized coffee mug. But Sunoco sponsors me, obviously. They've been wonderful to me. Sunoco has been my fuel sponsor for 2012 or earlier.
Damn, yeah, they've been in the sport for a long time. I know that. So them being a part with you, like that was kind of a no-brainer. You do a great job for them. I wanted to kind of talk with you a little bit about everything that's been going on. You posted a video on X that really it really evoked some emotion in me, man, because like I know you pretty well, and I know you like to kind of joke around, you like to have a good time. We're kind of similar in that standpoint, but it was kind of like a little bit more of a serious side of you, and I think that a lot of people are in a vulnerable spot right now. So that video that you put out talking about, everything that came out in the text messages with Steve Phelps and stuff, like, what was your first thoughts like when you read everything on, I think it was Friday that Bob dropped all that stuff? Like, how did you just see it scrolling, or did someone send it to you? How'd you figure everything out?
Got up that morning and grabbed my coffee, ate my banana, got on there and started, reading my newspaper. And then I have Channel 2 News on here in town. And I like to spend about an hour to an hour and a half waking up in my older age. I love it. I don't like to get up and go right away because I'm retired.
Yeah.
And I like to get up, grab a coffee, eat a banana, and turn Channel 2 News on, and then start scrolling and seeing what's up. And I just saw it. It was like breaking news. And I'm like, so then I push on it and I zoom in, I read it, and I'm like, this can't be real. Well, then when we realized it was real, I thought to myself, I started going into my business sense of mind. I thought, okay, NASCAR knew this was coming out.
Mm-hmm.
How in the world did they prepare for this?
Yeah.
Did they hire somebody? Because this is damage control now.
Mm-hmm.
But, I'll tell you, in their defense, in their defense, there's things that go on that when they do it, we're like, okay. So, for example, let's go to Steve O'Donnell. Steve O'Donnell at the time, when you read the part where they want to put a knife in SRX.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, why would they want to do that?
Mm.
So then I started figuring it out. At that time, they were working on a contract. NASCAR was working on a contract. So SRX was supposed to be for us older retired drivers. Lots of fun. Ha ha.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, Denny Hamlin. Then our main drivers were going over there, and they were on ESPN, their competitor.
Yep.
And the ratings were bigger than Truck and Xfinity. So these emails that we're seeing, they're not brand new. Obviously, SRX has been gone for 2 years.
Right.
Those are old emails from that period of time. And the reason they want to put a knife in SRX is because their drivers were hurting them by going over there while NASCAR was negotiating for $1 billion a year contract.
Mm-hmm.
So I understood that one. I said, okay, I get that. The one that's really bad, it just hurts my heart for everybody involved, is the Steve Phelps one's just a crushing blow for the sport.
Dude, I didn't even know what flogged meant until those text messages. I had never heard that word. I'm like 30 years old, so I know that you said you had someone that was younger in your family tell you what it meant. So I felt like I was like, damn, I must be really like old brained or just completely naive to those types of terms. But that's some pretty strong words, whether you're in a private message or not. Like that's just, I've never heard anybody talk like that or say anything like that about somebody.
Flog means tortured, whipped. That's what it means. It doesn't mean let me beat his ass and it's like let's torture him,
Yeah.
whip him. But it's a weird word to use because at that time he was the president. Got to remember, all this is the delay. Everything we're seeing right now is from well over like 2 years ago.
Right.
Everything we're seeing right now is from 2 years ago. So they knew all this was coming out, and they knew what was coming out. So they had to be bracing for this storm. I guarantee you they've known for quite a while this was coming out. And I'm sure they've had some advice how to react. And, so we'll see what happens. But, boy, it is by far the biggest mess I've ever seen NASCAR get in its history. I mean, you go way back to when Big Bill was running it, and Richard Petty and all them were going to, boycott. And NASCAR went and got all the Busch Grand National cars, and they ran, and it never worked. But back then, I mean, you hardly had media, but it traveled as slow as molasses.
Right. It wasn't like it is today. And you did a great job like explaining kind of like what the climate was like back then with like the story that you had. And I've told everybody here in the chat, they definitely need to watch that video you posted to X and YouTube about Richard. If not, like, because when you went into talking about the France family, just kind of describing like what it was like I think that a lot of NASCAR fans knew that. I think they kind of knew that there was that dictator type of thing, but like it worked. And like your comments that you said about like, they handled things like men back then. Like I feel like everybody just kind of was like happy to be a part of it, and they wanted it to work right. And it seemed like at least maybe back then that when you were going through that, when he was having those conversations with you, or he was just like pointing at you, calling you out on things, it was almost like a different level of respect for it, because everybody maybe was eating, and everybody was, kind of knew the lay of the land with things. But now, in the age that we're in today, it's like those types of things just don't work the way that they used to. Maybe everybody feels like they have a little bit more of a say in how things should go.
You said it perfectly, and I'll just add on. When NASCAR was at its best, it was a dictatorship. And listen, everybody knows that, and nobody cares because it was a good dictatorship.
Yeah.
You had Big Bill run it. Then he passed away, and his son, Bill France Jr., ran it. Like I said, smoking that cigarette, drinking that beer. And he was a badass. And at that time, NASCAR was going through the roof. I mean, everybody wanted to be there. And when he told you you was in trouble, you begged for mercy because you wanted to be part of NASCAR.
Yeah.
And you didn't want to get blackballed. You didn't want to get out. Well, as you said, then Bill France Jr. dies, and then Brian comes along, and now all of a sudden you see the tide changing, the technology, the cell phone. After Dale Jr., 2006 was the height of NASCAR. That was the highest.
Mm-hmm.
Then it started nosediving, and, after watching Brian France's interview with Dale Jr., it just went off the rails, and for all these reasons, and nowadays, I'm trying to figure out how to say this, but nowadays everybody thinks they're important, and they think they rule because of what we're doing right now, right here.
Yeah.
This is the new world. I mean, this is the new world. You cannot act like it does not exist. So Denny Hamlin's super important because not just is he a race car driver, but he's got actions detrimental. Now he can explain to everybody what happened. See, in our day, when something happened, it just festered for years. And now
That's so toxic.
Oh, yeah. I mean, fires get put out by the second now. I mean, it's like, some of this stuff coming on Dirty Mo with Dale Jr., you're like, oh, my God. Now I know why that happened back then.
Yeah.
All that DEI, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, when everybody, be fired or shut down, all these years later, now you found out. It's kind of like dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
20 years later, dun, dun. But nowadays, if Denny Hamlin can tell you the next day, and we're all fixing a wrong immediately.
Yeah.
So the news cycle doesn't even go by the day anymore. It goes by the hour.
Right. No, I completely agree with that. And I think the thing, too, another reason why I personally, like, after thinking about it a little bit more, like, I think the reason that things worked the way they did so well back when, like, Bill France Jr. was around is just because there was maybe more alignment. Maybe it was a little bit more passion-driven. Like, he actually loved what he did, and he made good money doing it. And I think a lot of the fan base right now, from a lot of the things I've seen, it's just like at some point, things turn a little bit more into bottom dollar and some of the passion gets lost or left behind from like what made it what it is today. So I feel that 100%. Another thing I wanted to ask you about, kind of going back to the SRX thing and just to kind of pick your brain. Have you talked to Ray Evernham at all lately? And because with those texts that come out, I can't exactly remember if those texts were prior to him leaving SRX or if they were before, because we can all make the speculation that like SRX like had its own issues or whatever internally, not necessarily saying that NASCAR had anything to do with that series being done, but I feel like it does raise the question. It's like it makes you curious because like I remember hearing that like Evernham was leaving SRX and nobody really knew why or nobody really knew what was going on. Like, do you think that there's anything mixed in with that whatsoever?
So you and I do so much content that we can't keep up with our own content.
Right.
So about a month ago, I did Kenny Conversation with Ray Evernham, and I never got into that because when I do Kenny Conversation, it is about celebrating that person's career.
Right.
That is how I get so many great drivers to come on, because my reputation for Kenny Conversation is a complete different personality.
Mm-hmm.
So when I do Kenny Conversation, it's that third person. There's three of me.
Yeah.
And we all know that. So that person's like, hi, Chase, really glad to have you on here. I really like what you're doing. That deal, that's that deal.
Right.
So we don't talk about anything controversy or negativity. So I didn't go that way on Kenny Conversation. However, I know a lot about SRX. I know that Ray started it. I know that they needed to cut back financially, and Ray was like, no, we're either going to do this right or we're not going to do it. So he peeled out of town. Don Hawk took off. And what I know to be true is that they simply could not raise enough money to pay for everything. The TV was big. That deal was enormous. And if you notice, iROC fails, SRX fails, that deal, and if you notice all deals like that, all of that stuff, it always fails.
Yeah.
It costs too much money because TV wants you to pay them.
Mm-hmm.
TV's not going to them. It's kind of like, hey, we're going to go to ESPN and see if they'll do this. Well, it still ain't enough money. Yeah. So that deal did not fail because somebody put a knife in it. SRX did not fail because somebody put a knife in it. From what I know, and I'm pretty privy to it, SRX failed because it just cost too much money. And that's all there was to it.
That makes sense.
Just like iROC.
Yeah, and that's what excited me so much about SRX when that came out, was because it felt like it was like, oh, we're getting the next generation iROC, and that was what was so cool, having all the different drivers. And I know that like from what I've heard recently, like even like Evernham was even looking at potentially having Mayfield being in there, and that was huge. So it's like, you hear things like that, you're like, damn. So to see it all kind of fall down is crazy. And I know this whole IRHA news just came out recently where they're looking to start a grassroots stock car racing series. I found that to be funny right before the court case starts on December the 1st. Like, that's like another thing that NASCAR could potentially use to say, hey, we're not a monopoly. Look, they got a stock car racing series. But also found out that apparently the person that owns it, found out here in this chat, and it may not be 100% true, don't know, but some lottery money was involved in that. And so, like you said, you never really know long-term how those things are going to work out because of how much money it takes to run them. So some interesting little nuggets there that we've been figuring out today. But you said you've talked to a lot of people in the industry. You've talked to, since all this stuff has been happening this weekend. Right. Can you tell us a little bit about who are some of these people that maybe have been kind of checking in with you, calling you, and like what the climate is right now on the inside from some of the old dogs, man? Like how's everybody looking at this thing?
The highest level has called me because our views are so big. So what you got is you have Dale Jr., Harvick, and me. Though Dale Jr. and Harvick are way bigger than me. They're way better than me. I'm nobody. However,
I wouldn't say that.
You just say that.
Yeah.
It's easier.
Yeah.
However, NASCAR recognizes that. And, years ago, I had NASCAR look me in the face and said, Herman, when you want to know something, call us. So I don't really call them, but they called me and they texted me and they've given me information. And it helps when you know what's up. And I'm going to say this because, you got all these AIs, whether they're from the Netherlands or India.
Right.
Whatever I'm saying right here, I know for a fact they're going to use. So when I'm talking to you, they're going to use what I'm saying right now.
Of course.
So what I can say is this. They are wounded. And they are not taking this in any type of light fashion. It is a devastating blow to them. It is as serious as it can get. And, there's a lot of sponsors in NASCAR that do not like what's going on here.
Oh, I know.
And in this court case, for example, Roger Penske, one of the most powerful men in America or the world, or Rick Hendrick at that fact. People like that, they can get out of shit.
Yeah.
Well, they couldn't get out of this. They said, no, the Judge Bell said, no, Roger Penske and Rick Hendrick, you're going to come here and you're going to sit in here and you're going to answer our questions.
Right.
And, this isn't a lower circuit court. This is no hillbilly thing, in Kannapolis. This is big.
Right.
So Roger Penske and Rick Hendrick, they got to go there.
See, I heard that Hendrick may not have to do it, but is there like something new that's recently developed where he definitely will have to show up?
Well, the last thing I read was a day ago.
Okay. All right. I must have missed that one.
But remember what we said. It goes by the hour.
Mm-hmm. It does. That is true.
It goes by the hour. And I would just say that this has only just begun. As bad as it is, it's only just begun because there's more to come.
Yeah.
The only emails we have seen is emails from year and two ago.
This is a scratching of the surface, and optically, it's already just been like the biggest blow I think that I've ever seen. Especially in racing, for sure in racing. Like I talked to Gluck about it a few weeks ago. It's just I don't think people were giving this story the credit that it deserved of how big. Like this is a historic moment that we're living through right now, and I don't think people are going to realize that until maybe about a year or two after. But with all this stuff that's coming out, all the tea spilling everywhere, all the different people that are involved in it. It just, doing things legally is one thing, but it's like optically for the fans, it's like, do you feel like there's a path forward for both Phelps and O'Donnell to remain where they are with the damage that's been done optically with the release of these texts?
So, when I drove a race car, I was always threatened in NASCAR.
Uh-huh.
All race car drivers get threatened. How are you doing? How are you performing? Hold on 1 minute.
You good, brother?
I just realized my computer's getting ready to die.
Uh-oh.
I'm always used to it being charged up.
Uh-oh.
But it's okay.
You've been busy with all them orders, man. This is what happens. It'll drain that battery.
Fun. 1 second.
Take your time. We got good stuff coming on here. If you're just joining us, we got Kenny Wallace on. We're talking about the stories.
Yeah, so my history is performance-based. Everything I've ever done in my life, even though I'm Rusty's brother, I've got to perform.
Right.
Okay? Is Steve Phelps and is Steve O'Donnell performing, and is NASCAR better since they've taken over?
That's the $1 million question.
Now, I just stuck my own knife in my back. I told you that everything I've ever, listen, Furniture Row, they fired me because they thought I couldn't get the job done. Then they realized it wasn't me after they went through Sterling Marlin missing the race at Bristol, Nemechek missing race, Scott Wimmer missing Michigan, and they called me back. And they said, we're sorry, we want to make this right. Now, I ran 6 in the Twin 150 at Daytona, and I lined up, and it's all good now.
Yeah.
Okay, the reason I tell that story is I've been through this stuff before. Can Steve Phelps, he should be in his rental car right now.
Yeah.
Driving. I mean, I can't. Hopefully he's been at Childress's already. I can't even believe he'd wait.
They say that he reached out to him, but I don't know what the conversation had to have been, because for Richard to come out and basically say that he's going to be seeking legal action now, he obviously, whatever was in that phone call between him and Steve before this came out, it wasn't in detail of what was said.
Well, let's put it this way: we're just having fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know you and I know the timeline.
Mm-hmm.
The timeline, they say Steve Phelps reached out to Richard Childress. Then a week later, Richard Childress comes out and says, I'm thinking about suing him.
Right.
So whatever the phone call was, it wasn't enough.
No. That's exactly what my thoughts was. I was like, because when Bob put that out, he was like, for what it's worth. I was like, obviously it wasn't worth shit, because that's a pretty big deal. Now, I don't know if he'll be able to actually do anything because of the way that evidence has been presented. There's a lot of people are questioning whether he can take legal action or not. Obviously, the big thing that you would look at would be defamation. But
slander,
mm-hmm.
I see all the professionals out there. He can't do nothing. It's free speech. I'm like, hold on.
Yeah.
Not everything.
Right. No, absolutely. I mean, there's definitely grounds. I feel like, because it's public thing, he's a public figure. There's definitely room for that. But what pisses me off, I think, the most about it is obviously, Phelps probably would have never said something like that to his face. But I think that it's good for Richard, and I think it's good for some people, because I've even learned myself. There's a lot of people in NASCAR that really don't know everything that's happening, and I think a lot of people on the outside think that everyone knows everything and it's all a giant conspiracy and they've all got it figured out. Now, these texts don't really make everything look great, but I think it's good that Richard kind of knows where he stands with these people, especially after everything that he's done in this sport, having probably the most iconic car and driver of all time be a part of that. You would hope that there would be more respect for it. So that's why I came out and I was like, I hope Richard, whatever Richard decides to do, he can do what he wants to do. He's a grown-ass man. So it's at the same time, you feel like there should be a level of respect morally for some things, but you learn as you get older that respect is, obviously respect is earned, and but some people just don't see it the way you see it, I guess. And
so here's what's going wrong. We have learned through all this, the one thing we learned is when you walk in that garage area, everybody's your enemy.
Yeah.
This is what all the emails have taught us. And here's why. Because it's not just about NASCAR. You see what Jeff Dickerson from Spire is saying about Richard Jones.
That's a whole nother can of worms, too.
You got car owners talking crap about other car owners. And, that's just tip of the iceberg, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've done a Kenny conversation. I've done a video about this. Rusty was the one that told me years ago, my big brother, Rusty. He said, Herman, you can't talk to none of them guys. They're all your enemies. They're trying to get you. It reminds me of Father John when Kim and I were getting married and we're going to pre-Cana class. He says, what are you going to do when you grow up, Kenny? I'm 19, right? Mm-hmm. I knew what he meant. I said, I'm going to be a race car driver.
You knew.
And he said, oh, my young man, be careful. Competition will kill you.
Mm.
So people of age, they know. Everybody tries to, you entertain people in a good way. Hey, you're my friend. How you doing? When you're in competition, you're in that garage area, they are all, and here's what's sad about it. They think they're your friend. They think they're your friend.
Yeah.
But they will stick that knife right in your back, and sadly, we've always known it, but here it is now, served up on a silver platter. It's kind of like this. Oh my God, it's really true.
Mm-hmm. No, that's what Tommy Joe Martins came out and said. Like, and I kind of felt what he was talking about there, because he was like, I wasn't dreaming all this up. It was actually real. It was a relief to see all this, because it's like you have to. We've all been in that situation where we kind of have like those gut feelings where like something's off or something's wrong. Maybe we think we're overthinking things a little bit, and then when you find out that your instinct and your gut was right all along, it's more of a relief than anything. It's like, yeah, it's still shitty that everything came out, but I had to imagine that he's not the only one feeling that right now. And that's why I want to know, like some of these guys that you race with. I mean, like what are their takes on everything? Like, who have you talked with that you actually ran on the track with? Like, has anybody got anything that they're saying about it or any viewpoints?
Well, we all know Mark drove up my driveway.
Yeah,
Mark's crushed. Mark Martin is like in utter disbelief.
Wow,
he's broken because Mark Martin. See, I have the ability to forgive and forget.
Right.
Mark doesn't. Mark's hardcore.
Damn.
Way more hardcore than me. So for me, I'm like, yeah, this don't surprise me, but wow, it's really out here.
Right. Yeah.
Mark is like, oh my God. Oh my God. Do they even like me?
He's up in arms. Yeah.
Did any of them ever like me, or did they see me as a show horse?
It's crushing for a person if that's the way it is. Like, I mean, you and I both have that same ability where we can we can see it, we can forgive, forget, move on. Or you don't forget, you can forgive. But for somebody like that right there, just hearing that, knowing that like it almost makes you feel like everything that you did your whole life, that everything you gave your whole life to, it's like, was there even anything there? Was it even real?
I had Dale Jr. on Kenny Conversation 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a good one. And I said to him, I said, Junior, I want to ask you this question, but it's kind of a statement too. And I said, you are, without a doubt, the most powerful person in NASCAR. You could tell them fans to stay home and they'd stay home. I said, what does it feel like to have that much power? And he responded, I'll never forget it. He responded, you can go over there and look at it. Kenny Conversation. He responded like this. He goes, I don't feel it. He goes, I'm always in trouble with NASCAR. He goes, I'm always trying to make up. He goes, I always feel like I'm in trouble with them. So now, after all this comes out, now I know what he's talking about.
That's so wild.
Because he was telling the truth on Kenny Conversation. He can do all that good, but what he was saying that day, none of us could believe. But now, it's like, oh, he probably has had his ass chewed out a lot by NASCAR. So he probably feels like he's never good enough for NASCAR.
And that's such a shame.
Of what, ain't that a shame?
It is. It's just like not really having the ability to look at yourself in the mirror and understand who you're looking at. Yeah. It's a tough place to be. I don't know. I'm glad I got to kind of pick your brain on some of this stuff, because like it's been rattling. There's a lot of noise out there, and you got to kind of weigh things out to the best of your ability. I always try to like look at things from an optimistic view, and kind of looking where we are now. Like people are telling me that I'm crazy for being optimistic, but I feel like we're kind of approaching clean slate area. Like with all this stuff out, like usually when you drag stuff through the mud, like you can make a clean slate, and then everybody has an opportunity to make a decision to make things better moving forward. So, we can only hope for that. I feel like in the generation we're in now, once the damage is kind of done, something like this, and again, like you said, we're only scratching the surface. So there's still so much more that's probably going to come out. But you feel like this is kind of like when the construction trucks roll in and they're just tearing everything down, and it's just like, what is Kenny Wallace's like hope for, how NASCAR bounces back for this?
That's what Coffee with Kenny was this morning. Amazing how you and I think alike.
Hey.
Somebody said to me, your Coffee with Kenny yesterday was too nice. You didn't talk about the lawsuit. Did NASCAR jump on your case? Because
you're a shill. You're a shill, Kenny.
And I said no. I wanted to let it breathe for a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's it's hard to talk about something that's so hurtful every single day.
Of course.
So I thought yesterday I'll give a break. And I did. It was funny. It was one of my funniest Coffee with Kenny's ever. And it was about that guy that says, hey, Kenny, you made that video about NASCAR maybe selling, that's going to do you in. And I made a comedy about it.
Oh, is that where you had the cigarette?
Yeah, that's where I had the cigarette. And I'm like, listen here, So today I went back at it. And today was about what you just talked about. This morning's Coffee with Kenny is, where are you at right now? Do you feel guilty that NASCAR's beat down so bad right now? I mean, they're close to losing it all. They're beat down so bad right now. The next thing is they shut down. Yeah. I mean, because the monopoly court case is. I've read what some of the people have had to say. The journalist. Mm-hmm. I don't know which one I read it. It could have been Matt Weaver, Jeff Gluck, Bob Pockras. They said, what's the worst scenario? The worst scenario is it is a monopoly and they got to split it up. When does this happen?
Yeah.
Let's say that's the worst. Let's just say it's the worst scenario. Mm-hmm. So that was my Coffee with Kenny this morning. Are you feeling a little guilty? It's kind of like, hey, I'm going to talk bad about your brother, and then all of a sudden you get mad and go, no, only I talk bad about my brother.
Right.
So in other words, what I find with NASCAR fans is as soon as you crap on NASCAR, a lot of them come to their defense. They're like, hey, it's my NASCAR. Only I get to talk bad about them. Don't talk. So my point was, you see psychology in play right now. Mm-hmm. You see most people right now going, oh my God, this is true. This is unreal. And people are kind of bewildered and a little hurt because this is their sport.
Yeah.
And it's very real. Now, are we gonna go to Vegas and bet what happens?
I tried to start a Kalshi market for the playoffs or I don't know if you've heard of Kalshi. You need to check it out. It's a prediction market where you can bet on random events that happen through the world. I don't know how long it's going to last, but I tried to put out there you could bet on, do you think it's going to be playoffs or do you think it's going to be full season points? And there was some other people making some other things, but I don't think that that's the biggest concern right now. As opposed to what just dropped over this past weekend. I think there's bigger fish to fry at the present moment because, like you said, you got to wonder, what does NASCAR look like now? What will happen from this? And then they have people coming.
Are we going to Daytona?
Yeah.
Are we going to Daytona? Because if it's ruled as a monopoly, when did the judge rule to split it up? Or what does he say?
Yeah.
It is a monopoly. We're going to let you keep it together, but you got to give out this amount of money. Well, that don't make no sense because if you're a monopoly, you're a monopoly.
Yeah. Selling the tracks is the big thing that I've heard. A lot of people have talked about making them sell tracks. And I think that but who's going to buy those tracks? And then what's that going to look like? So it's a big mess, and I think it too. And I think that I try to be really good about putting myself in the shoes of both sides. I don't ever want to get too one-sided on anything. And but yeah, I mean, it's the toughest spot that I've personally ever seen it. And for you to be able to say something like that, you've seen a lot of shit. I mean, you've been through a lot of different eras. So I just appreciate you kind of being on today to talk a little bit about it. And before I let you go, I want to ask you. So, recently I went to the World Outlaws World Finals. I got christened into the world of dirt, Kenny. And I hear that there's a little event. Yeah, there's a little event coming up called the Gateway Dirt Nationals. What's that event looking like for you? You gonna be doing anything over there? So
this year I announced that I'm not going to race there. It shocked a lot of people. I explained in depth. It was not a 3-minute video. I said, look, I'm 62 years old now. The Gateway Dirt Nationals inside the Dome here in St. Louis, December, 4th, 5th, and 6th. I don't know how I could ever top the incredible moments in my career, even over NASCAR. I won a race there. I almost missed the race, and it was called Win and You're In. And I took the lead on the last lap.
Man.
And, 30,000 people going, crazy, and I can't top that. Then I got out of the car and I acted like Ric Flair, and the crowd was going nuts. Then a couple years before that, I won a qualifier. But it just comes a point where that event is very tiring for me. It's an enclosed area.
Yeah.
It's a lot, man. It's a lot. You know, if somebody said, Herman, just show up and drive the car, I think I'd consider it. That's the only reason I go to Volusia now.
Yeah.
My man Nick Hoffman fields the car for me. I mean, I fly down there with my helmet bag.
Hell yeah. Shout out to Nick.
And I stay at Rusty's house 20 minutes from the racetrack.
Love that.
I can't go to Volusia any easier. It's so awesome. And I got a good race car. The Dome is hard on me. However, I do support it more than if I ever raced it. And I'm excited for them. So they'll start racing on Thursday, December 4th. And then Kim and I will leave for our cruise on the 5th. We'll get down there around Fort Lauderdale, and we'll get on the ship on Saturday. And we're looking forward to it. And I'm at peace with it. I'm happy to be going on the cruise. I need a break. For
sure you deserve it. You gonna hit a Senior Frogs on your cruise? That's kind of the thing to do, huh?
Well, we were supposed to go to Jamaica, but I saw in one of my emails because of the the hurricane, they've replaced it with Cozumel or Cancun. And people say, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "It don't matter. This is about my 40th cruise."
Yeah,
they all the same to me.
I hear
they
that.
really are. But I'm cruised out. I go on these for my wife, and I think the next year we finally are going to go. We're going to go land and sea for Alaska, which we're going to start maybe in Fairbanks and come on down on the train and get on the cruise ship.
That'll be interesting.
I got a lot of vacationing planned. I'm excited.
I know, man. You've been Kenny Wallace worldwide, dude. This is what we're going to start calling you. You're going all around, man.
Yep. I'm going to, let me see, Monday, February 9th, Kim and I are getting on the plane, and we got a tour group here in Kirkwood, Missouri. We're going to Winter and Yellowstone.
Ooh, Yellowstone's
Very
great.
Excited.
I used to go there all the time when I was a kid. I had family in Montana, and getting to see Old Faithful was
I'm very excited about
a great time. I love that for you, brother. Well, dude, it's so good to get to catch up with you, and happy Thanksgiving to you, man. And let's keep in touch and enjoy that cruise. And I'm sure a lot of these people watching today will be watching Gateway Dirt Nationals, so I'm sure you will as well. And we're going to enjoy some good dirt racing.
I'm your biggest fan, Chase. Dude, you know I love you. You do a great job. You show a lot of hard work. You work hard.
That means a ton to me, brother. You really have no clue how much that means, man. Greatest mentor of all time. Kenny Wallace on the show. We appreciate you, brother. Thanks so much.